So I'm Claudia, I'm from MBS, and he is Joe, he's the VP of Bass Brushes. And we are here to ask Joel some curiosities that we have. And the first one, how did Bass Brushes started?
Okay, so the way it started, as you know, and maybe your customers are going to find out today, is that we started on the people side. And we're going to talk more about that. I think you're going to ask me some more questions about how it relates to pet, and actually it's part of the growth of our brand is our expertise on the people side. But how did it start? Literally is mom and dad, my parents, believe it or not, are both professional people stylists.
Oh.
Okay? And they were very young when they met, and they were both cutting hair. Okay, and my dad had a small salon for people in a city called Burbank, California. And if you're familiar with the entertainment industry in California, Hollywood is where the movies are made, and just over the hill in Burbank is where all the television studios were.
Oh.
Okay? So he had a small salon right next to the television studio. So his customer were TV personalities, TV actors. You know, you go back some 50 years, I guess, 40 or 50 years. And he just had one chair cutting clients, and he wasn't making much money at all. Okay, most stylists don't make a lot of money. And when I was born, he needed to make more money to support the family. And so he started selling brushes for another company and cutting hair kind of on the weekends and by appointment. Well, he started making more money selling brushes than cutting hair. Yeah. And therefore, little by little, he transitioned into that, and little by little started his own brushes. And the name of the brand, Bass, actually is my mom's maiden name. Because when they were trying to decide, what the name should be, our last name is Weinstein. So it was either Bass Brush or Weinstein Brush.
Weinstein is very difficult to pronounce. Yeah.
So I think they made the right choice. But that's how it started, and little by little it grew. For most of my life growing up, it was in the garage. Most of it was in just a little garage, only two people, mom and dad, working. And then when I was old enough, still young, maybe 12, 13, start working in the garage, package the brush, prepare the orders. And that's how it was for 20 years, just in the garage. And then little by little, we grew, and grew and grew and grew, and it's still a family business today. And my brother and I manage everything, and I think we've done a good job. But that's the beginning of it. Now, but this we should talk about pet, because that's how it started with people.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking earlier, and you wanted to ask me how did we transition from people to pet, and what is the idea behind this? Okay.
Yes.
So fast forward many years. We had established ourselves in the professional industry, and we were growing a lot in the natural industry. Okay, so I'm sure in Brazil it's a little similar, but in the United States you have a very mature, what they call natural organic industry. And we've really, our products, because of all the natural materials that we use, was really well tuned for that industry. And so we started to grow in that industry quite a bit. Now, this is all gonna tie together for the pet, okay? But we had always thought about pet brushes. We thought about it, and the reason is that although our background was in professional styling, we're considered a brush maker. In other words, the Bass brand is brushes, right? So we make all kinds of beautiful brushes, body brushes and nail brushes and all kinds of brushes. And we always loved dogs and cats, and we just thought, we really would probably be very good at this, because in the market there was not this level of quality that we put into the people side. Okay, the way it worked originally, although we had been thinking about it for some years, there was somebody at a trade show, okay, who made shampoo, private label shampoo. And they happened to ask us, hey, you're a brush company, we make shampoo for these other companies. Have you ever thought about doing a pet brush?
Oh.
As I said, we had always been thinking about this, okay? And just sometimes you need the right incident or motivation or something to happen to push you to take the next step. And so we said, we could do this. We've been thinking about this for years. So we went ahead and tried to think, what are we going to do for pet? Now, a lot of brush companies also entered the pet industry. And what they did is they took their name and they found some generic pet brush and put their name on it. Right? That's typical. That's what happened. And our concept was totally different. We wanted to say, let's give the pet customer, the pet parents, and the groomers the same level of quality and expertise and beautiful materials, luxury grade finish, everything that they know the Bass name on the people side, let's give them that for pet. And that's what we did, little by little. Ultimately though, it was this one customer asking the question that got us started. But then we started developing the products and going to the pet shows. And I remember years ago, people would walk by our booth at the pet shows and they would look at the product and say, is this for me or for my dog? They had never seen anything like this in the industry at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, little by little in the pet industry, you started seeing a transition. They had good products and then great products, and then you started hearing this term human grade. You started hearing human grade this. Even on the food, organic, gluten-free, all these terms from the people side over to the pet side. To where nowadays, that's the expectation. The customer wants natural, human grade, really high quality stuff for the pet. So
because it's like a daughter, like a son, right?
Yeah, well, that's another conversation. I think people are having more pets than kids nowadays, okay? Probably in Brazil as well, but that's part of it, okay? But it's kind of the natural evolution of the industry. And so in some ways I feel that the industry caught up to Bass brushes because we started in the industry with this human grade, luxury grade, everything that they knew from the people side. And that's driven our success in many ways because of our brand name from the people side. So for example, a customer goes to their natural market, okay, and they pick up a Bass hairbrush and they go across the street to their boutique pet store and they can buy the Bass pet brush. And the look is very similar. Of course, functionally there's some differences. There's some what we call optimization for pets so that it works for a dog or a cat. But the material and all of the energy that we put into the people side also goes to the pet. And that's what's driven our success, driven the growth quite a bit.
When you were starting a new product, when you need to launch a new product, what do you do to be creative?
Well, to be creative. Well, creativity can't really be taught, that's for sure. I mean, you either have it or you do not. And I do think with Bass brushes, there's a level of sincerity in our product. I really believe that there's a DNA in the product. There's something subconscious that we put into it to where if another brand tried to copy us, it doesn't feel the same. Maybe there's something that looks similar or color or certain things.
I saw some in the market.
Yeah, you can see, people try to copy all the time, but I really, that's why something subconscious the customer kind of senses, right? This is not, it's imitation or it's not exactly right, okay? Like when you see a Louis Vuitton bag that's imitation, maybe it's really good, but something doesn't quite feel right, okay? So I think we've been very successful in putting a lot of sincerity into our design because we don't go out and copy other companies. We don't. That's the farthest thing from our mind. Everything comes from our office and the themes that we've created over the years, so there's a certain continuity to all of our products. by way of new products, how do we come up with new products? Sometimes it's seeing something in the market. Sometimes it's a customer. Sometimes it's you coming to us and saying, "Hey, Joel, you know what would be really good? I like this, but if you did a little idea or something," that comes from the customer all the time. And if it resonates with us, then we try and implement it in manufacturing. We always try and stay a little bit ahead of the curve. And remember, Bass Brushes is known for natural. That's our emphasis. So anytime we come across something manufacturing-wise that ties in with our general theme and our general brand, we want to be there before anybody else. And we have a pretty good track record with that. For example, the Bioflex brushes, we were the first brush company to do that. That was a big manufacturing breakthrough. We may have to explain to your audience what that is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But beyond that, it just comes from, creativity comes from God, okay? It just, sorry, I don't know if you want that in your video, but it's not something that you can really describe.
It's like a little bit of like creative, and then you see the customer's needs.
Of course, yeah.
And a little bit of each one, and then you mix all together.
That's right. Everything driven by customers. Everything we do, right? Just like in your business, you want your customers to be happy. We want you to be happy. We want your customers to be happy. So everything that drives us, for sure.
Yes. In Brazil, you only have Bass pet brushes, not human.
Yeah.
But they are so good that people like me and other customers, they use pet brushes in own hair. What do you think about that?
Well, it's kind of funny, but it's fine because there's a lot of crossover. Functionally, there's a lot of the same application between human brush and pet brush. There's a difference also, but 70% of it, the application is very similar. For example, natural bristle brushes, boar bristle brushes that polish the coat, polish your hair too.
Yeah.
Because the mechanism is that filament, the natural boar bristle, captures the sebaceous oil, okay? And the oil is either coming from your scalp or it's coming from the body. It's coming from the skin. It's the same thing.
Yes.
So the mechanism of pulling the oil through the coat or the hair to create shine and to condition the hair or the coat is the same. So you could easily use it. In that case, it's really the handle that we optimize for pet use or people use.
Okay.
It's really not so much it's not the bristle's the same. Concurrently, something that has a pin is going to go through your hair very easily, and it's going to go through a dog's hair easily, and go through a cat's hair easily. So there's quite a lot of crossover actually. So it doesn't surprise me. And we already kind of covered this a little bit, that especially in the old days, the people would buy them for themselves. They literally thought it was that nice to be a people brush. So we still get comments all the time that I actually use this brush on my hair, a person. So there's not, I think it's great, I think it's fine. I suppose it's, in most cases, a marketing distinction between which brush you use for people and pet. Again, this is not 100%. There are definitely some brushes that are only for pet use and vice versa, but there's quite a lot of crossover. So we would love the Bass People brand to grow in Brazil too someday. We'd be happy for that. And I think that's kind of cool actually, if it started with the brand growing from pet and then going over to the people, because most of the time it's the other direction.
Yes.
But if we could see it go from pet to people, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, okay.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, and also because the quality is very high, so people see it, oh, this is very, very good, better than mine, so
better than
I'll use this.
Just use it for yourself.
Yeah, for
sure.
me.
Why not?
And during the pandemic, what did you do to like reinvent and survive with all the restrictions?
Sure. Well, I mean, the last couple of years have been really challenging for everybody around the world. And it's nice finally that we're having this conversation where things are looking up, right?
Yes.
Finally, we can travel and have less restrictions. So that's a very, very good thing. But the pandemic was something I had never experienced in my life. We probably will never experience anything like that again for those 2 years. Notwithstanding, we did very well. I mean, as a company, we're here, and that's a good thing. So we feel partly we're blessed, and partly it was good decisions. You know what I mean? Partly good luck and partly good decisions. So it's both things together. What did we do to reinvent ourselves? Well, we were in a good position before the pandemic to take advantage of modern forms of communication. We were in a good position. We had already created a very large catalog of digital content that could be shared easily by email, social media, and on our website and other digital platforms. So we had that in place because that's the direction the world is going anyway. It's just been expedited and exacerbated because of the pandemic, just pushed faster, right? And we talked about it a little bit earlier, whereas before we did a lot of meetings face-to-face, you would have to go see customers and discuss things, okay? Well, we were already doing online meetings. That was a thing. It's not like it was just invented during the pandemic.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden it's the only way to communicate. Well, for us it worked out really well. As I said, we had already put the energy into building digital ways of showing our product. So when I had to talk to customers just online in the screen, I already had everything I really wanted at our fingertips. And that gave us an edge. It gave us an advantage. For example, before the pandemic, we stopped printing catalogs. We had stopped printing paper catalogs many years ago, actually, and switched almost totally to digital, different types of digital presentations beyond just the full catalog. Our sales team, okay, we have 90 salespeople all over the United States, and we provided them with digital content packages that they could easily hand out, just like I hand you a paper, right? But they could email all their customers these really rich, compelling, but quick and to the point presentations that talked about what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So we had all of that ready to go. So when I needed to speak to buyers, we would send them. We send samples, of course, so you have the physical product. And we meet online, and you make your presentation, and you go on to the next customer, which is a lot more efficient.
Oh, yes.
Than having to fly to see this person or fly there to see this person. And you still talk and you see face to face, and you know, like we talked about earlier, there's always reasons to see people face to face. I'm not saying that that's never gonna. I don't want to live in the metaverse. I'm not talking about that. Okay, but for day-to-day business, it really is more efficient.
Yeah.
Okay, and we found ourselves really availing ourselves of the digital content that we had, and the presentations were compelling enough, and we had the samples going. So we did very well. We really did well throughout the pandemic, because we had already kind of built the infrastructure, I think. Not knowing a pandemic was coming, but preparing for it.
Yeah. So we are happy that we can continue grow together after the pandemic.
Yes.
And also, tell me about our partnership. What do you think about MBS and Bass?
Sure. Well, I'll answer that question by telling you the little, and the audience, okay, a little story that I already told you. That we were just at the Global Pet in Orlando, and somebody came by the booth. Actually, many customers from Brazil go to that show, okay, and many want to buy, and I say no. Claudia is the only person we sell to in Brazil. Go see Claudia. But this particular gal was, she said she was an influencer, you know, on Instagram, and apparently she has a very large following. She was there with her manager, okay, and she was looking at the brochure. She was so excited, okay? I've never seen so much enthusiasm in one girl, which is why I believe she is an influencer, because she had that personality, like a Hollywood person, just so much emotion. And the manager, she didn't speak English, so the manager translating, telling me, oh, she says, everybody loves your brushes in Brazil. She knows this brand very well. She wants to take videos, asking permission, of course, which was nice. May I take a video? And she's shooting herself in front of the booth to send back to her audience. And the manager said, she says your brushes are famous in Brazil, and I immediately said, well, that's because of Claudia. That's not really because of us. That's because of Claudia. So that is quite an honor. So as far as the partnership is concerned, it's been amazing to work with you. It's an honor every single day that you're working with us, and we made it through the pandemic together, and we made it through lots of different things together, and it's generally been very smooth and beneficial relationship. And I think what you're doing there, first of all, to last 10 years is amazing, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay? And it's one thing, I know you order consistently, but that experience that I had with that gal in Brazil kind of told me everything, right? It tells me, she says literally, your brushes are famous in Brazil. And as I say, we're not putting a lot of marketing into that territory. That's all because of you. So you're doing a lot of things right, right? You can't last that long without doing a lot of many things, as you know, okay, to do them correctly. And it's just an honor to have you as a partner, and we look forward to a relationship for many years to go.
Yeah, we too. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
And this is our interview with Bass Brushes Joel Weinstein.
Yeah.
And we are very happy that we are together. And I don't know. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.